Hey, it's Scott McKenzie at Freedom Marine Yacht Sales. Today we're on board the 2024 Axopar 45 Cross Cabin. I'm greeted here with Sean.
Yeah, Scott and I are looking forward to showing you through the 45 Axopar, a beautiful boat with lots of good features.
Before we start showing you the boat, please like and subscribe and follow us on each channel. So here we have the aft bench set up, which is just outstanding for bringing extra gear on board. You have plenty of room if you're going to be fishing, and if you want to bring anything up top, your mountain bikes, e-bikes, kayaks. It's just a good area. I absolutely love this setup just for the amount of space you have back here.
The open deck space makes up for your sun lounges up front, so you really get to use the space. You do have a wet bar with barbecue, fridge, all that kind of good stuff in here, and allows you to do those cooking and amenity things while keeping the space open. And again, yes, for fishing and crabbing, things like that, this cockpit is amazing.
So this is a perfect wet bar option right here. We have nice deep refrigerator, sink, and then under here we have some fender storage, perfect fender or cover storage. So this is next.
You've got storage for an incredible amount of gear.
Yeah, an exceptional amount of space to put any more gear, provisions, food, whatever you'd like. This is extremely deep down here, so.
Yeah, and on previous Axopars, storage was at a major premium. It was difficult to carry a lot of gear for extended trips. Yeah. On something like this, if you've organized your tubs right, you could carry a lot of extra gear that you would like for a longer trip. Store it all down there and you'd never even know it's in the way because it just disappears into that tunnel.
So over here we have the drop down swim ladder. That's just easy access for when you go for a swim. And what would you say the function is for this big bar here?
It's a tow bar, and we actually, on most of our boats that we order for our customers on the Northwest, we put them on. Not everybody actually tows water skiers or wakeboarders, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You certainly can do it, but we also find it works really well to be a sort of a support.
Kind of a grab bar.
Yeah. We once did a fishing trip on one of these, and we saw all day long people were hanging onto the tow bar because it's comfortable. It gives you some stability and a little bit more secure around the cockpit area. Mm-hmm. And then also gives you that option to tow if you had the need or desire.
So clearly we have these three triple 300 Mercury V8 engines.
Definitely a big change from the 37. Well, not a huge change. You just added one extra engine. And Axopar, again, in their DNA is trying to keep the boat light, trying to keep it efficient. Mm-hmm. You'll see some parts of the world where they might have put quad engines on here or more. But triple 300s is an efficient, fast way to still get an Axopar performance and feel. But still not overload the boat, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so those are on the joystick control, all the electronic controls on it, as well as the AMS, the advanced midsections for quiet, smooth rides.
Especially from inside. I know when we took this over from Vancouver, we were inside chatting, both the sliding doors open, and it was just, I couldn't believe how quiet it was from inside when we were cruising.
25 to 26 is sort of the real fine sweet spot, but all of the Axopars have a fairly wide section where you could be running 23 or you could be running 29, and your consumption per distance is about the same. So really you would be choosing your cruise speed based on conditions and comfort more than what's most efficient in that.
So the maximum speed you want to go with this 45 is 45 knots.
Yeah. It's a perfect match, easy to remember.
Yeah.
Trimmed out with the right fuel and everything, you should get 45 fairly easily into the 44, 45.
Great. In the cruising range, you're a good cruising speed, the best fuel, the most fuel efficient cruising speed would be around 25, 30 knots. So I see we have 6 rocket launchers for all your fishing rods. We can put any gear up in these mesh holding nets.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's a good spot to tuck a few things. You've got a water bottle that rolls around everywhere. You tuck it in there and it's not a hassle.
Yeah. And then we have a backup camera, which I absolutely loved, especially when we're bringing out of a slip like this and we're so close. That backup camera is zoomed right in all these 3 motors and all these port and starboard quarters, and it just makes you feel so much more comfortable when you're taking out of a slip. So over here, I also noticed we have downrigger plugs and pads on both sides as well. So that's going to be just another great feature for all our fishermen.
Part of the theme of the multi-purpose boat is that it can do everything, including fish. And locally, to fish for salmon, you need what's called a downrigger. And those mounts and plugs get you access to that. And when you're not using them, they detach, and all that's left is the space. And they can be easily stored down below deck or in one of the side lockers. For example, this one, we've got a couple covers in it right now, but it's super deep, meant for holding lines and fenders, runs all the way aft to here. So again, it's not one that we usually focus on with Axopar, but this boat has storage, lots of storage.
So Sean, this is the aft bench configuration. Can you tell me a bit more about the other options you can put on board here?
So Axopar is going to offer you a U-shaped seating area. It's got a little high-low table, some bench seats out in here, facing aft. Quite a nice setup, but it does use up your back deck. So you really want to match it to how you intend to use the boat. You can also get a aft cabin, which gives you a second double cabin with an extra head or extra storage locker, and so you get a cabin trunk here with a sun deck on top, depending on how you want to use the space. And that's the beauty about Axopar, is it's modular. They can configure and build what suits you. But we had felt this boat, with the accommodations forward and the multi-use of having the open cockpit and fishing, is a really nice fit for the Northwest here.
So we're coming up forward here in this Axopar 45. As you can see, we have plenty of room for sunbathing, seating up forward and up in the bow there as well. This is the section I think that the kids are gonna love. People, I mean, especially when you're going 25 knots and you're up here, it's an absolute amazing experience.
For people who just sit and read, and even if you're not suntanning, having something that braces you like a sofa outside it's a nice setup. Going forward, we have a little bit of storage up in our anchor locker. So it's two split lids, so you don't have one giant lid. You can go to part way through or full all the way through. So you've got your anchor rod stored on the port side. Starboard side, you'll see a white fiberglass table. There's a table base here, so it can be set up so you can sit forward and aft and have a little table up front while the guys are still fishing out back. Shore power connection system is quite nice being stored in here because your cables hang. You can run it out through the anchor roller and close the lid, and very tidy at the dock that way.
Great. And you also have controls inside as well for the windlass?
Yes, so you can control the windlass from here or at the helm. And I see that they've notched this in a couple spots too, depending where you wanted to run your shore power out, so it doesn't rub or bump on the lid, which is some forward thinking. Great.
I see we have these here for awning poles, and you can get pretty much an awning cover.
Yeah, it definitely, there is a 4-post sun awning out here, so there's 4 receivers, and it will be a screened-in awning and sort of give you that med look, and it's appropriate because this is the Mediterranean package for the upholstery.
So we got 2 forward speakers up here, which is great for entertaining, cup holders for drinks.
Solar panel.
Solar panel, okay. So that's just is that gonna give me trickle charging for when we're at anchor?
The idea was a lot of these boats get tied up when you're not plugged in at the dock. And so when the batteries switches and everything's off, they just take care of your batteries for you when you're not plugged in. But they're not going to make up for the use and consumption of a fridge and a bunch of domestic uses. This boat, fortunately, was ordered with what they call the large battery bank, and so there's 1,000 amp hours of battery in this, lithium ion. Wow. And it is paired with a 6 kilowatt or kVA inverter, which is massive. So
massive for a boat like this.
Yeah, you can run a lot of AC appliances off those batteries, and again, you have triple alternators on the engines, putting out about 80 amps each when you're running at speed. Yeah, you can get some power back pretty quick.
This is a great feature which they added on with the 45. Just opening up this bulwark door, and you have extra space, extra seating, and you're really opening up this whole entertainment area to out here.
When the boat's out on the water, it's fortunate because the sliding doors, you've got double sliding doors on both sides of the boat. So when you're in the social mode and trying to expand the salon, you slide the aft doors open. They line up perfectly with these balconies, and when you do that all the way across the boat, your seating area here, those 10 friends that you brought with you, everybody's got room to sit and chat with each other and all feel like they're together without being compressed in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just bringing these sliding doors open like this. I can already feel the breeze coming right through this boat.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
And that's part of the idea too, is because even if you ordered one of these with an aft cabin, you would lose some of that cockpit seating space. But with the retractable sunroof, the opening doors and this, it sort of brings the inside of the boat outside if you want, right? And then when the weather's not right, it all folds back up, and it's your pilot house boat that protects you, keep you warm and quiet. When the weather's right, it opens up to be an outdoor space.
And so you're going to bring this up while you're underway. These sliding doors have many configurations up, forward. You can adjust them. So even when you're underway going at high speeds, you could have this open person here, that flipped up, but you just get a completely different atmosphere back here with this big open.
Yeah, 100%. Because as long as these are up underway, the doors can be in any position you want, and so your guests sitting back here, you could have them open and just feel like they're out in the open. Yeah. And as soon as they get a bit cold, the door closes and it's peaceful and quiet.
Yeah. So the versatility and the modularity of this aft cabin area, this aft main salon area, is just exceptional. Coming through here, it's easy. If I want to go from one side to the other side, easily, just a good flow. And you know, especially you can have 8 people in here right now, just sitting comfortably, and it's just great. It's easy.
Table folds out, it swivels around depending what you'd like to do, and folds out to full size. It also can slide forward and aft depending where you would position it.
Sure.
This guy here, of course, in an entertaining mode, you want it all the way forward and all the space here going across to the balconies. When it's time to actually do a little bit of cooking, you can do it inside. We'll convert over to that in a minute and show you how that works. Scott, could I get you to hit the button for the sunroof?
Sure,
I think that is worth showing.
So Sean, on a day like this, it's absolutely perfect to open up the sunroof. We have an electric sunroof, canvas top, and we can bring that back.
And this really changes the boat on the nice days, because instead of sitting inside out of that, you're again, as we talked about with the balconies, you're bringing the inside of the boat outside, and when the weather's right, and making the boat even that much more versatile. In climate conditions, you can close them up, put the covers on, and you're running like a solid pilot house boat. Best of both worlds.
Totally, and especially with our crazy weather patterns we get up here in the Pacific Northwest, to shut down this boat, shut these doors, takes you less than a minute. So if we do get a white squall coming through, it's that easy. Even though these are waterproof as well, right?
Yeah, the sunroofs themselves, when you're running and opening and closing them, when they're closed underway, you're not going to get wet inside. You won't get rain in there. When you're not using them, or if it's the off season, you have a harbor cover that goes over and it zips over, snaps over, and provides protection for the sunroof, so you get a long life out of it. And it also gives you additional weatherproofing.
Another great part is this will slide all the way forward, just having all 8 guests here dining comfortably. In here we have a nice large sink, and we have an induction stove right here. Also, we should have a large fridge there. And what I also like about this is that when you're going high speeds, if you want to go up to 40 knots, and you have this, this triple helm seat, and you can also sit back here. So you have just as good as views as anybody in the helm seat, and you can just enjoy the ride.
Furthers that concept of bringing more people with you for that adventure or that fun on the water.
Yeah.
Because you could have 2 or 3 standing here comfortably on the bolster watching, while you have 3 at the helm seats. Helm, and I guess that would be your co-pilot seats. But yeah, you got 6 people up there looking forward, and the people sitting aft in the salon aren't really missing out. These boats travel so level, it's not like the bow's risen way up. Anybody sitting back here will be able to see out the windows all the way around, but sometimes it's more fun to be right up in the action underway.
Yeah, right up in the action.
Yeah. Did you notice the storage drawers down there?
Perfect, right? So would this be for, extra cutlery or any type of storage in here? You could put, plates or plastic cups in there. That's great.
Yeah, all boats are lacking storage, and they're solving it. Every little space.
And then here we have room for, let's see, trash can. Another fridge right back here.
Another
as
drawer
well.
fridge.
Another drawer fridge. Great. Moving forward up to the helm station, Sean, can you explain a bit more about this, simple navigation station that Axopar does such a good job of implementing all the different systems.
Simplicity, effort to get there, and they've done a beautiful job with this. They've integrated the two 16-inch, I believe, Simrad screens, as well as an additional Simrad screen that could be dedicated for your engines. There's many quick options down the side when you want to control audio, autopilot. When you pop into vessel control, whether it's sport exhaust, troll control, cruise control, active trim can be all run on the side there quite quickly. All your Mercury data is along the side there. And given that we have a third screen, you can dedicate any one of these screens for your engine running data to keep a track on your engines while underway, navigate from a chart plotter, run your radar. And it also has your advanced sounders on it. So for down scan, side scan, for the fishermen who want to see on the bottom, it's all there. And then, as you had pointed out earlier, a really good resolution camera to see the stern. So when you're running the boat and you're coming out of the slip, there's no need to be twisting your head around or looking back. You can see what your guests are doing, making sure they're on board, and also see the corners of your boat, so you know that you're not about to bump into somebody.
Yeah, there's no lines back there getting in the way, and it's just it's a real clean look.
One of the nice features on this, the premium Brabus Marine boats for a few years have been integrating many of the controls right into the wheel. Axopar's adopted that for the 45. So we have our trim tab control and bow thruster controls all just with your thumb up and down. You don't have to let go of the wheel. The other side is your stereo music controls, almost as important as docking. But again, just the idea of keeping it all close together, concentrated, so you can focus on running the boat instead of reaching and looking where things are.
Yeah, and coming from a first-time boater, it's not that intimidating at all. Everything's really clean and laid out and simple to use. Would you say the people that get on board these boats, they have a pretty easy time learning to dock, learning to use the JPO and the functions that this boat has? It's simple and easy to use.
Consumers, boaters, they like nice things. They like big boats, but not everybody's got the time on the water or the available time to get great at handling a boat. And so the easier they make it, the more likely somebody's going to be comfortable using it. A lot of people who buy this will be busy people. They want to get places quickly, and having control of all the engines with the joystick, having a bow thruster up there to help the joystick, and keeping it all fairly simple makes handling a much larger boat than what people would have traditionally with ease. This is something, if somebody's got a reasonable or even a entry-level background in boating, it would not take long to learn how to run this boat. And run it well, not just get out on the water, but run it out so you're going places and feeling good about what you're doing.
Yeah, and my favorite feature with that JPO is that when you're coming into the dock and you're outside of the breakwater, you can turn the skyhook feature on and get your lines and fenders ready. It makes your guests feel safe. Nobody's rushed. So you're coming in and you just go down to a slow speed, put it in neutral, and click skyhook. And what's going on there? What is skyhook all about?
Yeah, and it's a positioning, dynamic positioning system for the boat. So you've sort of picked a spot on the water, and you've told the boat that, hey, I want to stay right here for the moment, right? And you hit the skyhook, and it'll do everything it can, monitoring, running the engines to keep the boat oriented and sitting still while you run around and do things. So you don't worry about drifting into shore, or you don't worry about the wind blowing you off when you're trying to get your fenders and lines ready to come into the dock.
Yeah, or your less experienced friend is on the helm, and you're worried about what's going on up there. Everything is set in stone. It's not going anywhere.
I've also seen the skyhook used too is a lot of people who bottom fish and do different things. To anchor in deep water, especially out here with the currents, it has to be done right, and there's a bit of effort to it. But if somebody just wants to drop a line for 10-15 minutes and fish a certain spot, or whether it's a mount or something where you think there will be fish, you could hit the skyhook and be jigging off the side, and it'll be the other features of this. It has a built-in autopilot in it. So you don't add that separately. It's not a separate control. It's built right into the JPO system. Great for the video game generation and us catching up to that. But if you push the joystick sideways, if you're pushing it to port, it is working to do its best to move the boat in the direction you've put that joystick. Of course, you want to get a feel for it so you know how much and how fast it goes, how much pressure you press. So that'll take a little bit of time. But with us tied up on alongside a dock like this with nowhere to go forward and aft, I couldn't push it straight sideways and get myself some clearance to the dock before I start turning, which would create a safer spot. Traditionally with the boat, you'd be trying to fender off and lever the boat off the dock to get it away, whereas this, you can just bring it out sideways, position the boat down the lane and leave.
Yeah, single-handedly, if you're qualified to do so, it's not hard to drive it by yourself. Once you get to know that JPO drive, handling the bow thruster, it's very simple.
We've talked about sunroofs earlier. There's an aft and forward sunroof. They will stop with a small little open position up there, which is great for ventilation. So if you're running on a day where you just wanted a little bit of air coming in, not rough weather, but on those great days that we have out here, it pulls a nice bit of breeze through and gives you the shading over your eyes so that you can see clearly out of the windshield. And as all of the Axopar boats with the reverse shear windshields, they naturally shade the windshield from the sun, and they don't glare, so you don't really need your sunglasses. You can just see.
And what I thought was amazing was when we were up at 35 knots coming over from the mainland, it looked just like this. The hull was completely flat. We had such good visibility for any logs or anything, any mooring balls. We're going high speeds and we could see absolutely everything around us, like panoramic views all around. I mean, 35 knots, I just wanted to go faster.
And Axopar's always been running boats with fairly level traveling.
Yeah.
The 45 is no exception, and it's maybe better than all of them for that, because this one, all the way through the speed range, when you're coming up to a plane, it stays very flat. And that's excellent for visibility, because one, we can stand up, use the bolsters, run this way. But if you feel like sitting down, you're not losing your visibility. You still have visibility from seated position, and that level riding also gives visibility to your guests in the back so they can see out forward.
Yeah.
And that is a big difference between traditional hulls and something like an Axopar.
I mean, I'm sure you'd agree that like standing up is the funnest way to drive an Axopar. Like, you're going side to side. That's my go-to for driving these boats. How about yourself?
I'm old. I like to sit.
Yeah.
If I can see well and I've got a long trip, I usually alternate between standing and sitting.
Yeah.
Just to get the different positions of my seating.
Great.
But yeah, I when the water conditions allow it, I do like to sit, and these boats do give me the visibility to travel quickly sitting as well. Axopar really has been using these push buttons for a long time. Put right into the dash. You've got everything from your nav lights, roof lights, ambient lights, underwater light. You get a lot of options in there, but it kept clean, tidy. One other thing I didn't mention, which is really important on these boats, is the diesel heating systems from Webasto. All of the boats that we order, we fit them with diesel heating. Up here, our season can be short. Even during the peak season, we can have cold days. By having this heater system in a pilot house boat, you can extend the season year-round up here, or even just shoulder seasons much further out. Come down, hit a button, 10-15 minutes later, come into a warm boat and spend the day out cruising on a January day that's beautiful out there. Have a wonderful time on the water, come back, and yet you're still in a light jacket or short sleeves and enjoying the ride. And of course, bring the weather gear when you step out, but but it's all doable with the Axopar and the pilot house and the heater. Too much about these, or enough about these, so let's move on to the forward cabin.
Great. So I see we have a sliding door here, so that can shut if anybody wants to be in there while there's guests up here. That just clicks open real nicely. Let's head down.
Scott, where'd you go? Oh, hey.
So you'll come through here. You have a nice vanity sink, electric flush head, macerator. You have a holding tank that's going to last you quite some time, and then you have a stand-up shower. So this is plenty of space. Comparing it to the Axopar 37, it's full walk-through. You're not ducking down. I'm certainly not ducking down. So this is just a great amount of space in here.
You pop in here and think, where are you going to sleep? There's nowhere to sleep. But
right behind me, I think, right?
Yeah,
you can fold this down.
That sofa that works as a nice table to put your drinks and snacks and things like that does fold down to become a dedicated
queen berth.
The width up here and the length would definitely be equal to that. And of course, tapering to the bow because it is a performance boat.
As you're aware, with forward cabins, they can get a little bit stuffy, especially on the hotter days. I know that Axopar does an outstanding job of putting these gull wing doors up.
It's a luxury feature that came out on the cross cabins, is to have these gull wings, but they really give you more versatility in the boat. Given we're a bit higher cabin, they've actually changed a few things down here so we can make that more usable. So you've got a little flip up here. You've got a step that flips up. So these two steps have rubber treads so they're not slippery, and gives you access to this gull wing door, which can be opened from inside or out. They're lockable.
Wow.
And then you just go up the steps and then bring it all the way up.
Oh, that's amazing.
If you don't have the cushions up there, it's all glass. It lets light in. But on a beautiful day like this, if your 10 friends are having fun out there and you've decided you need your own space for a little bit, this is a great spot to sit, bring the outside in, and also gives you a way to exit and enter the forward cabin without going into the main pilot house. Yeah, very versatile. And again, just thinking about how people might want to use the boat and giving them lots of options.
And I see there's some good storage space underneath here, and we also have a sink, I believe, right in here.
Hot and cold pressure water on this, and that hot and cold pressure water comes from shore power systems, but you do have that hot and cold shower on the aft deck. In the heads, you'd have hot and cold water at the vanities.
Yeah, I can already feel the flow coming through here, and it's just bringing just a lot more ventilation. And
so other than the gull wings, there is additional ventilation in this forward cabin. There's an opening hatch here. In the seat back of the forward lounge, it's cut out to let the light through. This guy, you just flip the dogs down and it'll fold inward and allow you to get some ventilation. And more importantly too, is when you've got the bed set up and your heads are here, that ventilation's right above you, so you can crack it open a little bit and get some fresh air while you're sleeping. This is the spot where you're going to grab your book and kind of lay out and read, and without having to be up on deck in the sun, but still get all the fresh air moving through. Possibly while your kids and your husbands or whoever's playing off the back, and just get your quiet space.
Good. Well, that's it for today. Before we let you go, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean, and just giving us a full rundown of this beautiful Axopar 45. If you'd like to learn more, please stop by our offices at Port Sydney Marina on Vancouver Island or in Cole Harbour in Vancouver.
We'd love to show you more. Reach out to any of our sales team in Vancouver or Sydney, and we'll get you into an Axopar. Have a great day.